In our video, Rivers, Little and Big, we introduced the idea of stream order. While I briefly touched upon the area where streams connect, I did not go into any great depth. We will do that here. Welcome to the quick take on confluences. We need to start our exploration of confluences by defining what we mean by a confluence. At the most basic, a confluence is a meeting or gathering at one point. When we look at confluences in aquatic systems, it is the place where two streams or rivers come together and merge, creating one larger stream or river. In our video on stream order, we use this image to identify how streams come together to create higher order streams. Each of these junctions is a confluence. In this case, stream order does not matter. When two rivers or streams come together, we have a confluence. Confluences can occur when two small upper watershed streams merge, as in this case. We have a stream on the left and one on the right, coming together to form the larger stream that is coming toward us. We can have confluences where major rivers come together, as in this example, where the Mississippi River and the Missouri River join. We also have constructed confluences, where a human-made channel, such as this stormwater pipe, drains into a river. We can even have confluences where two constructed channels merge, such as what we see here where we have two field ditches coming together. While this ditch system is currently dry, when the system is actively draining water from the fields, they will meet at this point and carry the combined water downstream into a larger ditch until it reaches another confluence with the river or stream. One of the great aspects of confluences is that they provide tremendous amounts of information about different watersheds and serve as a visual indicator for what may be happening upstream in each watershed. They can also serve as a tool for comparing two adjacent watersheds. Regardless of the size of the two rivers, when they come together, they retain their independence for a bit. This happens in all size confluences, whether they be large or small. As we can see, the smaller streams on the left do not merge right away, but keep their identities, flowing downriver in seeming separate flows within the larger channel. This is even clearer on the area where the Mississippi and the Missouri merge. These two rivers maintain their individual identity for miles downstream, flowing side by side within the larger channel. This can even happen when a small stream enters a massive river. You can often find the smaller river maintaining its identity for a while, flowing next to the adjacent, much larger flow of the bigger river. As the two streams or rivers move downstream of the confluence, they will eventually blend with each other, turning into a single river sharing all the material that is carried into the larger channel from both upper watersheds. This blending will result in the dilution or concentration of in-stream material and chemicals, depending upon which upstream source you are comparing it to. So confluences can either improve or degrade water resources. It depends on the original source of the stream above the point of the confluence. One of the really cool things about large confluences is how, when the waters come together, they share information from places so far away. Let's take a quick look at the Mississippi River and look at the confluences of three different river systems. The upper Mississippi River watershed starts in north-central Minnesota in Lake Itasca. While it flows downstream, it merges with several rivers, creating confluences at the Minnesota River, the Iowa River, the Illinois River, and the Des Moines River, to name just a few of the larger ones. There are so many smaller ones that they are almost impossible to count. While all these larger confluences are areas in which major drainages contribute to the upper Mississippi, they are all drainages that are characteristic of the north-central United States and share roughly similar features. While the upper Mississippi River is nice, it starts to enter great river status when it joins with the Missouri River. The Missouri River flows into the Mississippi River from west of St. Louis, Missouri. The Missouri is the longest tributary of the Mississippi and flows from the confluence of three rivers in the Rocky Mountains. One of these contributing rivers is the Big Hole, which starts at Skinner Lake in Montana. From the eastern slope of the Rocky Mountains, the river flows into and through the Great Plains, draining two very different ecosystems. Having flowed through such a long distance and through so many different ecosystems, the Missouri has collected a lot of stories from a huge portion of the United States and even parts of Canada. As it meets and merges with the Mississippi, these stories are combined with those from the upper Mississippi, creating a massive river that can tell stories from a good chunk of the central part of the continent. While the confluence of the Mississippi and Missouri rivers form one of North America's great rivers, when we go downstream of this junction just a little bit, we find another confluence where the Mississippi River becomes legendary. From the east, the Ohio comes charging into the combined Missouri and Mississippi, adding its stories to the channel. The Ohio River is formed by the confluence of two other rivers, the Allegheny and Monongahela rivers. The image on the top of this slide is where the Allegheny River starts in a small drainage area. The river flows through several eastern states before joining with the Mississippi River in Cairo, Illinois. At this point, we have waters from the eastern United States joining with waters from the upper central portion of the United States and flows from the western U.S. out to the Rocky Mountains and through the Great Plains. All three rivers carry very different messages about where they originate and the country through which they flow, and they carry each of these influences downriver until eventually draining into the Gulf of Mexico. But before we hit the Gulf of Mexico, our collection of stories that are added to the Mississippi River is not complete. The Arkansas, Red River, and White River basins also add their stories from further south in the Great Plains region. As these rivers come together and blend their stories, we have the story of the central United States that drains into the Gulf of Mexico near New Orleans. Not only do confluences connect water bodies, confluences also connect people. In historical times, water transportation was one of the most convenient ways of moving people and goods around a region. Therefore, when two rivers met, the people living in the rivers upstream of the confluence and downstream had a naturally established meeting place. At these areas, we often find trading posts, and then larger cities emerge to facilitate this communication and trade. In this slide, we have the Tigris and Euphrates watersheds. While the two rivers are fairly close together for much of their course, we do have a confluence towards the bottom of the watershed where the two rivers join. The city of Al-Qurna was established where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers merged and has served as an important region for many of the great Middle Eastern civilizations. This area has such a strong connection with Western civilization that it is identified as one of the potential locations for the mythical Garden of Eden. I think there is something very romantic and logical about having the Garden of Eden being located at the confluence of two great rivers. Confluences are so important to human trade and water-based transportation that people could not leave their development to nature alone. In areas where nature did not naturally create confluences between two river basins, humans might dig a canal to construct an artificial river to connect them. At each end of the canal, and sometimes in the middle, we would have confluences with natural rivers. The image is here from the Grand Canal in China, one of the longest canals in the world. This canal created confluences with many rivers and allowed for water-based transportation throughout the Chinese Empire. Canals can also connect rivers across mountains, such as the one we find in the Main, Rhine, and Danube Canal. Hey, I think I have a video on that canal, so you can check that out after you view this one. Great rivers seldom achieve greatness by themselves. Rather, great rivers become great by joining together many smaller rivers. The confluences where small rivers combine and build into larger and greater rivers are areas of incredible ecological and social diversity. There is probably a confluence not far from you. I encourage you to visit your local confluence and take some time thinking about what stories are being delivered from the upstream rivers to the confluence and how those stories are combining to create something new below the confluence.